Hey, what's going on guys? Coach Seth here. Today we are talking vertical jump. It's going to be more on the explosive side today. So to me, it's kind of like combining strength with plyos. We're not going to be leaving the floor on this, so it's not technically plyometrics, and we're going to be training the speed of a certain exercise. So what we do with vertical jump is basically getting from point A to point B as fast as you can. So that's what we're training here. So the start of an exercise to the end of an exercise as quickly as possible. So the key here, we have extra resistance, but we don't want too much because once again, we want to be able to explode out of that spot. You kind of have to just figure out a certain resistance that's enough resistance, but not too much at the same time. So I'm gonna go through some of my favorite explosive exercises for vertical jump, and I'll explain exactly how to do them. For this first one, it's going to be an eccentric power squat. So you're going to have everything set up just like a normal squat. So for the eccentrically, you're going to go down slow. That's the eccentric portion is. So we're going to focus on going down slow, at least a 3-second count before we get to the bottom. And for these, we're not going to go as deep as a normal squat. Once you get down to equal or below parallel, it becomes a little bit more challenging to explode, and then that just becomes a strength exercise, and we're working on that explosiveness. So we're going to go to about a half squat on these. So we're not going all the way down, but we're going down slow eccentrically. Once we get to the half squat, which is going to be somewhere above parallel to the knees, we are exploding out of that, and I like to get about 6 to 8 reps of these. Next, we got power cleans. So this is definitely more of an advanced exercise. So if you're just starting out or you're a beginner, I would say just kind of avoid these. These require quite a bit of form. I have an alternative to this after I explain the form of this one. But with this, you're gonna stand just like you're about to do a deadlift. Probably let the bar hit right above the knees. And you're gonna explode up, bringing the bar up, and then catching it with your elbows forward. And you wanna land nice and soft on the knees. I haven't really mastered these. Believe it or not, the form of these is one of the more harder ones to master. This one just takes a lot of practice. Do not do a lot of weight with these unless you're really experienced with these. So an alternative that I much more prefer, because it doesn't take a whole lot more of thought, just because I'm much more used to this movement, but it's going to be like a Romanian deadlift, exact same starting motion. Just get to the knees, and then you're just powering up. You don't have to worry about bringing it up to your shoulders or anything like that. Exact same motion of a Romanian deadlift, except you're not going down as far and you're exploding up. And you can get about 8 to 10 reps of these. Next, we're going with thrusters. I really like these because it's adding a little bit of upper body as well. Not all the time, but sometimes we do require some upper body movement in order to increase that vertical. So that's why I like these. So with this one, you're gonna go into about a quarter squat. We don't wanna go very far down on this one. You have dumbbells rested right up around the shoulders. You don't wanna completely rest them on the shoulders, so the elbows are forward, but you're coming down slow. Once you get to a quarter squat, you are powering them up and extending at the arms. On all of these, really make sure you're trying to explode out of that starting spot. Next, we're going with a band power squat. So it's pretty much gonna be the exact same thing as that eccentric power squat, except we're adding bands as extra resistance. Just know that bands is just a different resistance. So as you get higher with the bands, as the bands expand, it becomes more challenging. So it's just a different resistance rather than just weight. Weight is kind of just the same resistance throughout the whole thing. Bands just kind of change up that resistance, but this is going to be kind of the same thing as the power squats. You may not even have to go as low with these. Once again, just make sure to explode out of the starting spot. And the next one is kettlebell swings. Some of you may have heard of kettlebell swings before. It's a pretty common exercise, but it's very effective for vertical jump. So with this, we don't need our feet too wide with this, but wide enough obviously to get the kettlebell in between the legs, because it's gonna have to go in between the legs. And I see people kind of bend over a little bit too much on these all the time. You don't want to hinge at the waist so much where your back is parallel with the floor. That's a little low. You want to bend over at the waist, maybe about 45-degree angle, and you're bending the knees as well. And the main thing here is it's not an upper body exercise, so you're not using the shoulders. You really want to send this through, creating all of the momentum with the hips. And make sure to let the kettlebell drop once it gets up in the air, because that's going to create more force that your hips have to adapt with, which is going to ultimately be better for vertical jump. If you're interested in more on increasing your vertical jump, I will put a playlist right here, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.